Dear students, welcome to our class on summary of techniques of estimation or measurement or determination of evapotranspiration. So, as I said from the beginning, this is the basics and basics. Once we understand the basics of different methods, then it is my intention that we actually determine, we actually evaluate, we actually calculate different methods by taking the original data. Then what is the real advantages are? The real advances are when we upscale it, the methods when we upscale it to remote sensing level, to apply it to the larger areas, larger vegetation, larger barren land, larger a combination of these two, then it is my view. So that's why here in the summary, what I would like to tell you is that as far as there is a topic in GRF, SRF and NET as far as ICR syllabus is concerned. That's why from that viewpoint, what are the best techniques, what are the best methods, what are the best equations that as agrometeorologist only, crop physiologist I am not touching, agriculture engineering I am not touching, as agricultural meteorologist, as agrometeorologist, as agriculture meteorologist, we all should know the equations, the method that we should apply, okay, not from the viewpoint of the crop physiologist, not from the point of agriculture engineering. Basically this is the basic. That's why once again I am telling you, as far as advanced are concerned, okay, all crop physiology, agriculture engineering, agriculture meteorology, all these things I will tell. Now see, evaporation is a physical process in which water is converted into vapor. So this is the water is converted to vapor. What it is taking? It is taking the energy. Now transpiration is the process in which water from the plant parts, living plant parts is lost into the atmosphere. So why this particular evapotranspiration is very important. This I would like to impress upon you that the earth is elliptical in shape. It has lithosphere, it has hydrosphere, it has atmosphere. Yes sir. So the interaction of these three goes on, and then the weather phenomena are occurring through convection process, which is for which the energy is coming from the sun. Now please note that 97.5%, just hold your breath, 97.5% of the water is locked in the oceans. In the Arctic and Antarctic glaciers, approximately 2% is locked there. Okay, it is available in the ocean, 97.5%. 2% in the solid form, maybe in the ice or snow, whatever you call it. Very little fraction of what is available on the lithosphere. This little amount of water has to support basically the human beings, before that animals, well before that crops. Okay. Now, so for all our industrial needs, water, the uses of water. So very tiny portion, 100 minus 97.5 plus approximately 2. So the remaining is just 0.5. 1% is available for all these things. That's why one of the processes of returning of moisture into the atmosphere is evapotranspiration. Whether it is from the evaporation of the plant, land, or transpiration from the plant, or combined term, we cannot distinguish these two. Okay, that's why evapotranspiration was coined. Now 15% of the water that is entering into the atmosphere is from the evapotranspiration. So in the cloud formation, in the occurrence of the rainfall or precipitation of different forms, rainfall, drizzle, okay, snow, whatnot, okay, for all these forms of precipitation. That's why I request you, please subscribe to my channel, Agrometeorology Farmers and Road Developer. There I have given that. Now, so only extension of it with reference to ET I am telling now. See, this is the basics, that's what the basic is involved as far as evapotranspiration methods are concerned. So, why we the agrometeorologists must understand the evapotranspiration? Because 97.5% of the water is available in the oceans, 2% is locked, and only 97.5 minus 2, 97.5 plus 2. Only 0.5, 100 minus these two. Okay, so that much little water is there. As agrometeorology, it is our responsibility that we should ensure the farmers that his crop grows through correct phases as per the availability of the precipitation or irrigation methods. Now, so to involve in the hydrological cycle. So we have different mechanisms. So different mechanisms include artificial rainmaking. Okay, sometimes seawater distillation is there. Of course, iceberg towing is there. Of course, next one is the manipulation of the evapotranspiration. That's why as agrometeorologists, it is our main responsibility along with crop physiologists and agricultural engineers. In the advances, I will include those two. That's why this is the basis. Okay. Now this is what is the onerous responsibility on our shoulders. So this is the importance of evapotranspiration because only tiny amount of water is available on the lithosphere where human beings, animals and crops live and only. So what are the different methods we discuss? Yes, before that I would like to put upon you that as far as evapotranspiration is concerned, aerodynamic approaches are there, radiation approaches are there, combination of solar radiation and aerodynamic are there, energy budget approaches are there, fan evaporimeters are there, crop physiologically, sap flow methods are there, different classifications are there. Okay, in certain parts of the globe there is a classification like this: energy balance methods, micrometeorological techniques, mass transport techniques, resistance approaches. However, they are overlapping one by another. Here I would like to. Always I tell my students, for the last 40 long years of my teaching, I always tell this example. As far as evapotranspiration at the basics or at the PG level or PhD level is concerned, the sky has only one character. The sky has only one character, that is the sound. The air has two characters, sound and sensitivity. S and S are there. Third, the fire. The fire has three S's. What is the sound? Shape is added there. Sound, sensitivity and shape is there. The fourth one is the water. So water has four characters. S, three S's plus one. That is the taste. S is shape, then sensitivity and shape, sound, shape, sensitivity, and water also has got some sort of taste, plus T is there. But as far as soil is concerned, this is the soil. Okay, this is the soil. Soil has got 5 properties: 4 SS plus 1 4 SS. Okay, extra S is there. What is the S? Soil has got like sky, sound is there, like air, sound and sensitivity is there, like fire, sound, sensitivity and shape is there. T is added to the water. What is the T for the water? What I told is the 3 SS, sound, sensitivity, shape and taste is there. Here another S is added to the soil. What is the another S? Smell. So sound, sensitivity, shape, smell and finally we have got taste is there. So 5 characters are there for the plant. I always tell this to all my students, innumerable students. I was always telling, that's why I am sharing with you. Why I always tell is that in the evapotranspiration, that is the philosophy, Vedas, Upanishads, it is said like this, what I told. So in the evapotranspiration process, if Penman has taken radiation and aerodynamic term, if Dalton has taken only mass transport, surface to air, atmosphere, okay, the resistance offered by, okay, that's your Dalton equation, E0 from the surface. What they have taken? They have taken water, which has got 4 characters, and where it is entering into the air, which has got only 2 characters. What are the 2 characters of the air? Sound and sensitivity is there. Water has got 4. So from 4 water characters into 2, it is going. So evapotranspiration is going from, that is evapotranspiration is going from 5 characters of the soil: sound, sensitivity, shape, smell and taste. Okay, 5 characters soil has got. From here the plant is there. from the plant, from the soil, evapotranspiration. So 5 characters that has got all these things are used in the evapotranspiration techniques. This is what I always tell my students. So in the evaporation transpiration, energy balance, okay, fire, in the Vedas, fire. In the aerodynamic term, we call it as the wind. So these are all the cycles. That's what I would like to say. Now, quickly, I just would like to sum up all these techniques. Number 1, Penman method. Penman combination method has taken. Penman original equation had come from the Dalton's equation. So from the Dalton's equation, he had developed a combination method where he had used 2. One is the radiation term, second one is the aerodynamic term. So he has taken 2 components. This is the foolproof method. And coming to the Bland-Cadel method, he has taken original equation, only temperature. Bland-Cadel has taken only temperature. Later it was improved by, in the book Climate and Agriculture, Zhenhu Chang mentioned that, a wonderful word that about Bland-Cadel, that Bland-Cadel have justified the omission of other meteorological elements other than temperature by stressing the fact that other weather elements or meteorological elements or meteorological elements vary together with the air temperature. That's why the major component of the Bland-Cadel method is the temperature. Of course, this is the modified. This is what modified by Doornbos and Cook. Of course, that's why. So originally he had taken temperature. That means other weather elements are modified based on the temperature of the air. Now let us go to the third method of estimating evapotranspiration. What is the third method? The third method is the Bowen's ratio. Net radiation is equal to Rn is equal to latent heat of evaporation plus sensible heat flux plus ground heat flux. Here, in the net radiation, we are not taking the advection component. In the other side of the equation, Rn is equal to, here, photosynthesis, energy utilized, heat stored in the crop, we are not taking. So Rn is equal to Le plus G plus S. Here, Bowen's ratio is H by Le. H is the sensible heat flux by latent heat flux multiplied by psychrometric constant. That is the Bowen's ratio. Bowen's ratio is H by Le into psychrometric constant. Usually for Indian conditions, during my MSc, I used 0.66 as the psychrometric constant. Now, Rn minus G by Rn, latent heat of evaporation, watts per meter square. Rn minus G by 1 plus Bowen's ratio. So, indirect method of estimating the evapotranspiration was done by Bowen's ratio. Then, Monteith method. Monteith energy method is concerned, very, very interesting. He had given net radiation, of course, psychrometric constant is slope of the vapor pressure curve and psychrometric constant. So, 2 things he had taken. He has taken vapor pressure deficit and net radiation. So, that's why. So, Monteith's equation as far as energy, or you can say this combination approach of Monteith differs from energy approach. Energy approach equation is a simple one, very straightforward one, where you can measure directly. As far as the ETO measurement in the combination method is concerned, 2 things he has taken, radiation component and aerodynamic component. Now, so let us go to the 5th method that we discussed in the, this is basic only, I am not going to the advances. What I meant by advances, I have already told. Advances means, actually we take the data and calculate it. What is the real advantage? Applications at the large scale, upscaling into the remote sensing. Now, this is the basics only. No, Pascal had given the aerodynamic approach. Before that, Thornton, Holtzman had given the equation. Pascal has just improved it by adding the roughness parameter. Simply, what is that? ETO is equal to Q1 minus Q2, U2 minus U1, Z2, D. D is the roughness parameter. Okay. Zero plane displacement and roughness parameter has taken here. What is the D? Okay, what is the D? D is the zero plane displacement and roughness parameter together, where they meet into the zero, Z0 plus D. Now, why they have taken in the aerodynamic approach, I have given what is the next Swinbank eddy covariance or eddy correlation. Eddy covariance or eddy correlation. See, just in the before equation, Pascal, I would like to tell you Z0, okay, that is the roughness parameter. Z0 or roughness parameter due because of the obstacles. Z0 is because of the zero plane displacement. Usually we mention the D. So that is due to, that is zero plane displacement is due to obstacles like crop surface or buildings. So that's what. Now, so eddy covariance. Swinbank had proposed a very simple equation. This is what I told. We take in the eddy covariance, these are the best techniques. Eddy covariance is the best technique. Why? Sonic anemometers have come. This thermometry instruments have come. So simply we take several. This sonic anemometer, we take the fluxes of the wind, and then we take the vapor pressure at the particular density of the air. So aircrafts are moving, aerodynamics, kites are moving just in our daily life. Any object, solid object in the air, we call the aerodynamics. So eddy covariance technique is very straightforward technique. Very straightforward, highly reliable technique, because we just use the sonic anemometer and we can thermometry, and even from the remote in larger areas like a country or 2 to 3 country, what is the evaporation is going on, MODIS satellite from there. We can use this one. And so Penman resistance approach. What is the resistance approach we discussed? Is Penman. This is the crop. This is the live crop. For example, what is the resistance? When wind is blowing, crop offers the resistance. Through that resistance, evapotranspiration, latent heat evaporation is going on. So this is the resistance approach. How much resistance the crop is offering, we try to understand. And in the final, that is the canopy temperature and mass methods. Canopy temperature, remotely sensitive canopy temperature, remote infrared thermometers. And what is the mass transport methods? Mass transport methods are, the mass transport is two processes. Number one is the diffusion, number two is the convection. Diffusion is the movement of mass, that is the water vapor, from the areas where it is there to where it is not there. Convection is the process in which molecular movement to molecular movement energy is moving. Here, this is very important. So canopy temperature method and mass transport method, these are all the methods that we discussed. Here the merits and demerits, as far as merits and demerits of each method is concerned, as agrometeorologists, first we should understand only one thing. Our terms are only 3. ETO, refers to evapotranspiration. Next one, ETC, crop evapotranspiration. ETO into crop coefficient. We get our crop. We should. This is the basics. If you are convinced with this basic term, with all these methods, then we go to the advances. We take the engineering, we take the crop physiology, everything we develop. Now, which method is very important? What is the significance of it? In my, as agrometeorology, we should say each method was developed with a lot of lots and lots of research. One method is useful in one area. Some method is useful, extremely useful in one area. Most commonly used is the Penman combination approach. Nowadays, eddy covariance, because it's just nowadays instrumentation at advanced, very high sensitive sonic anemometers have come. We are able to measure the flux of the water vapor in the atmosphere instantaneously, 1/100th of a second. Wind speed and everything, these things we are able to say. So that's why. So here, 1 or 2 lines I would like to tell you that what I am interested to tell is blind and cradle method takes only temperature. So where only temperature is available, there we use the blind and cradle method. Penman method needs at least 3 to 4. Net radiation, if net radiation is not available, Campbell-Stokes sunshine recorder, we have the equation here, given the equation. So aerodynamic, where wind speed is there, otherwise wind speed, there are some tables he had given. Of course, FAO has taken the responsibility for giving the Smithsonian tables are available. So from these techniques, Penman method we can derive, even though some factors are not missing. Penman method needs more parameters. Blind and only temperature, modified P also we have taken for the P means rainfall we have taken, fruit we have done it, and then this of course aerodynamic approach I have already told. Aerodynamic approach is Thorn's weight and Boltzmann. So wonderful equation. So it is modified by Pascal by just here taking the D component. This is one of the wonderful this thing. Eddy covariance, good. Eddy covariance is again we need only two. Average of these two we take it. What is that? From the sonic anemometers, average of wind speed and average of the this vapor pressure density or vapor pressure flux, saturation vapor pressure minus actual vapor pressure. There is a vapor pressure difference at the density of the particular density of the air. So these are all useful even for the research purposes. So the important thing one or two with reference to which method is good. All methods are good. As a agrometeorologist at the basics I am telling, we should not say this method is good, this method is not correct, because every method can be done, can be used extensively and very useful to the farmers, because finally we have only 0.5 to 1% of the water is available on the land for human beings, for plants, for vegetation, that is for animals. So evapotranspiration 15% it contributes. So we should intervene. Okay, we should technologically intervene into the evapotranspiration methods, and then hydrological cycle we have to change it, manipulate it. So this is what finally I would like to say that okay, whatever the techniques that we use as far as estimation of evapotranspiration is concerned, okay, this is the water, this is the plant. Now, we should involve crop characteristics and the meteorological characteristics. If these two are added in any technique like modified Penman method, so they are supposed to be the best under any situation. Thanking you very much for your patience hearing. May God bless you.